Joining me now is Heritage Foundation Senior Legal Fellow Hans von Spakovsky. Hans, this is a story of where is U.S. criminal attorney prosecutor John Durham in his probe of the Trump-Russia probe, because Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz now says the Obama administration did engage in a, quote, premeditated effort to oust and get rid of President Trump based on newly revealed government documents. What do you say?
Well, what they have revealed is that at the very same time that James Comey was certifying to the FISA court on an application for a warrant that they had confirmed and verified the Steele dossier, at the very same time he sent an email to James Clapper saying they hadn't verified the information and claims of the Steele dossier. That is a very serious problem for James Comey, because it looks like he may have lied to a federal court. That has got to be investigated, and frankly, if that's what happened, it needs to be prosecuted for that.
So this is a smoke and gun email that was sent in from then FBI Director James Comey to then Director of National Intelligence James Clapper. Comey emailed that the FBI was, quote, not able to sufficiently corroborate Christopher Steele's anti-Trump reporting. And again, that was when Comey was signing off on FISA wiretaps to go after the Trump team at that secret court that's meant for terrorists. You know, let's listen to Matt Gaetz on this, and I'd like your reaction to what Congressman Gaetz is saying on Hannity last night. Watch.
Not only did our own Justice Department set up the president on the Russia hoax, they did it with rotten information, and they knew the information was rotten when they did it. You know, and I know, and all the viewers know that there's not going to be any accountability under the Biden Justice Department, because none of the career people there think the way to move up in the Biden Justice Department is to expose the Russia hoax.
Your reaction, Hans?
Well, I'm afraid he's right. If the National Security Division of the Justice Department does not investigate this, then that is a sign, unfortunately, of the partisanship of the Justice Department under Joe Biden. But look, the FISA court also can and should investigate this. If they fail to do something about the director of the FBI potentially lying to them, then that'll be a sign to the public that they are not willing to police the misconduct and misbehavior of federal agents and federal lawyers at the Justice Department. And that will be a very shocking development, particularly with regards to the use of the FISA statute.
Yeah, then it's, you know, full on Katie bar the door. You're allowed to commit perjury before the FISA court. Again, that's meant for terrorists, not meant for political opposition campaigns. All right, so, you know, in June of 2017, Comey testifies to Congress that the Steele dossier was salacious and unverified. The FBI was told by the CIA that Carter Page is a CIA source. He's an asset. They were told by Steele's own source that Steele's information is just gossip said over beers. They knew both the Trump-Russia probe and the Flynn case was falling apart. They were told that the Hillary Clinton campaign and the DNC paid for and helped finance the Steele dossier, that Hillary wanted to set up the Trump-Russia narrative to vilify Trump and distract from her email scandal. All of that was apparently not told to the FISA court. What do you say?
I think it was one of the worst, if not the worst, abuse of federal law enforcement powers in the espionage and their powers, counter-espionage powers, in the history of the United States. And the worst thing about it all is, so far, no one has paid the price for this, which means this kind of abuse could happen again in the future.
And here's the thing. I mean, James Comey was pressuring then DNI James Clapper to include the Steele anti-Trump reporting inside the intelligence community assessment on Russian meddling. At that time, by that time, the FBI had already let go Christopher Steele. He was thought to be, by many in the FBI to be unreliable, not trustworthy. Even his own supposed Russian sources said he's not trustworthy. And he was let go for leaks to the media. So the FBI let him go, but then he's still reliable enough to put his stuff in the ICA. Your final word?
He was obviously not reliable enough, but all of this makes the director of the FBI, frankly, look worse even than J. Edgar Hoover was in abusing the powers of the Federal Bureau of Investigation for purely political purposes. And that is unacceptable today in our political society and culture.
All right, Hans von Spakovsky, thanks for joining us. And we knew who you meant when it was J. Edgar Hoover, not Herbert. We get it. Okay, it's good to see you. Come back soon. Okay.